got the victory. I got the sweet, sweet victory in Jesus. Wow, we have got the victory. We got the victory.
All right now.
Welcome to Take Center Stage. As featured in the Own It magazine, we have November's cover girl in the house, Dr. Hattie Washington. Welcome. Thank you for taking center stage with me again. We are here today to talk about Driven to Succeed.
Absolutely.
Yes. And today we need so much inspiration in this area, so much alignment with purpose and calling and destiny and legacy. And so Dr. Washington, talk to us today about Driven to Succeed.
The Driven to Succeed, even though it was the title of my first book, Driven to Succeed, which talked about my life's journey and the story of how my struggles, my obstacles, roadblocks became detours and stumbling blocks. And so that whole title of the book, little did I know then, that's going to be so motivational and inspiring to a lot of people. So that is also my brand in terms of my product, Driven to Succeed, because in life, you're going to have people who are going to tell you what you can't do. And they're going to look at you because you're a foster kid or your mother's dead. You're living with an aunt who doesn't come out to any PTA meetings. They're going to decide that you're not going to college, and they're going to decide what you're going to be in life. But if you're driven to succeed the way I was, I knew I was going to college, going to Norfolk State, but the school didn't prepare me for it. And I walked on Norfolk State's campus, hadn't applied. I was the first generation to go to college. And I walked in the main building, Tidewater Hall. I got off the bus when school was started and walked in looking for my homeroom. So at the desk, I asked you later, I said, I'm looking for my homeroom. I plan to go here. She said, excuse me? I said, I'm looking for my homeroom. I'm planning to go here. So she said, have you been admitted? And I just looked because, I don't know what you mean admitted. I'm the first person in my family to go to college.
Wow.
Then she said, have you applied? And I thought, okay, what does she mean applied? I just plan to go here. But one thing about HBCUs, they know about first generation students. So she took me by the hand, took me down to the admissions office and told them that this young lady was looking for a homeroom. And I don't think she has applied. She wasn't making fun of me. She just told them who I was. I'm looking for my homeroom. So they sat me down, had me to apply, fill out the form, and then tell you how green I was also. I didn't know you had to pay to go to college. I thought it was like high school. Just get off the bus and go to your homeroom.
Wow.
And so I had to take it back to my aunt to fill out the W-2 form. And she said, I'm not filling that form out. I don't want people knowing my business.
Yeah.
So I came back, make a long story short, they helped me to declare independent because I was going to be 18 in that October. And I applied on my own and applied for the National Defense Loan.
Wow.
And that's how I went to Norfolk State. So my book talks about the struggles and the setbacks and the roadblocks that became stumbling blocks. And the Lord put so many people in my way to help me along the way. And I talk about my foster boys home, raising my two daughters. One's a physician, one is an attorney, how my parental skills and strategies for getting the most out of them, which I also use for my foster boys and I use for my teacher special ed. And it just talked about the positive lessons you learn along the way. If you have failures and you don't learn any lessons, then you have not been successful. In a success, you're going to have failures in your life. So the book is very inspirational. And one lady said to me, I don't like reading. She said, I haven't read a whole book in 20 years. She said, but I read your book 3 times.
Woo, go ahead, girl.
That said something about inspiring people.
Yes,
So that's the
yes,
Driven
yes,
to Succeed that is
yes.
won the Amazon #1 bestseller. It was a Congressional Black Caucus featured author. I was NAACP and a SALA featured author with my book. So God is good, and using this wonderful book to help raise money for my scholarship fund for my foster boys to go to college.
Awesome, awesome. We want to do a shout out to Dr. Renee Allen, who is listening
Oh
in,
my
and
goodness.
she's yes,
Yes.
yes, and she has shared, her comments. I've flashed them across the screen. Thank you so much, Dr. Allen, for chiming in with us
Oh,
today, and sharing this moment with us, because you talk about something that most people, I always say, your why must make you high. You gotta be so addicted and so, just like you said, driven to succeed, because obstacles are going to come in your way. And most people have a tendency to allow obstacles to stop them, and
to
they
define them.
forfeit.
Yes.
Yeah,
To
they
define
forfeit.
them.
Yeah, they forfeit what it feels like to be victorious on the other side. We came in on the song "I've Got the Victory," and she's
Yes.
talks, and Yolanda Adams talks. I've been through
Oh
the
my
the,
goodness.
the the storms and the rains. I felt all kind of pain.
Yes.
Life is going to bring you some blows, but you have the ability to fight back by being driven to succeed in whatever it is that you set out to succeed in. You kind of grazed over the fact that you had foster young men.
Yes.
You had 3 homes for these young
Yes.
people.
Yes.
And that's huge. Even doing the research and looking up your background and everything like that. I was just like, wow. All I could say was what it took. And although you were married and everything like that, your husband was serving and you were here, you are what they say, a Renaissance woman. When I say that you had your hand in business, you had your hand in legacy work from the beginning, and so young. What was it that inspired you? What gave you the audacity, so to speak, to think that this was possible for you to have 3, not 1, but for you to have 3 homes for these young men in Maryland?
Well, Marissa, I didn't plan to open these boys' home. In retrospect, it was God's way of telling me this is what he wants me to do. And then I had a kinship with these kids because my mother died when I was 3. And I had a wonderful, wonderful stepmother until they closed the schools in Virginia for 5 years. As a result of the Brown versus Board of Education, they didn't want to integrate the schools. So rather than integrate the schools, they passed laws in Virginia where it was legal to close the schools down. And like they're doing there in Texas and so on, they're passing laws that are unconstitutional, and they're making it legal to do some things that it's really unconstitutional. So they closed the schools down. And my father sent me to live with a relative in Norfolk. I didn't know her, but I was like a foster kid because he paid her to keep me. And so I had this kinship with these boys, but I didn't know it then until I found 3 boys on the corner in the middle of the day. And I just picked them up and said, why are you out of school? And they said, who are you? I said, I am the assistant superintendent, and you stand on my streets in the middle of the day. So why aren't you in school? Now, we are foster kids. I said, so what does that mean? We don't have a permanent address, so we don't know which school zone we're supposed to go to. So make a long story short, called social service, and I took them home for one night, supposedly, and then 1 week and 1 month, and then I decided to keep them. And the social service said, you got to get your house certified. You got to be licensed. I said, I don't want to get licensed. You got a home? Whenever you got a home, you can come and get these kids.
Right.
Well, no, not yet. So I didn't want to give them back. So I decided to open up, get my house license. And then after I kept them for about 6 months or so, I needed a housekeeper. I had somebody to come and cook, and I'm still assistant superintendent of schools, long hours, school board meetings. So after a while, one of the board members said, you have to think about opening a group home. I didn't know what a group home was either. Then I started researching. You can have staff. These kids can get more counseling.
Wow.
101. So that's why I opened up the first one, and I didn't know it's going to cost so much. And then I cashed in my retirement at the time, because that's the only
Wow.
way you could open up a house, have it furnished for the state to come to inspect.
Right.
You're not getting any money from the state. You can't raise money until you get a 501c3. You can't get a 501c3 till you have a place that's been approved by the state. So where are you going to get the money? You can't ask people for donations because you're not a 501c3 yet. So I'm thinking, Lord, am I supposed to do this? It's a real sacrifice. Now, am I supposed to do this much sacrificing? So I ended up doing the cash in my retirement and getting the first place, and got bond bills later after I got licensed and so on, and people were able to donate. But it was a real sacrifice to do that. But I felt good because I was doing God's work.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? These are the conversations that need to be held so that people understand the reality of what it means that, because they look and they see all the glory, but they don't get to see the details of the story, right? So they don't stick around enough. And then sometimes they don't even just want to hear it. And it's just like, how can you not want to hear it? How can you not want to hear it when this is what's going to happen? And so when you're knowledgeable, you and I, before we went live, we had a conversation. You talked about the pony and the pony show, and you talked about the importance of not only just you hear and then you forget, and then you see and then you'll remember, right? But if you do, you get understanding. And we know application is really what births proficiency, understanding, and mastery, right? Ultimately, if you keep at it, mastery, right? And so, if you don't hear the story, so people don't understand when you get ready to go into business, they're so caught up in this whole we go viral thing. And that's so far from the truth. It's not. That's just that just happens here and there. And some of that is staged. It's not even real. And so you have to get ready. If you really want something, again, I go back to driven to succeed. Why must make you high? You got to be so addicted. And when you were a young woman and you went into that college, you didn't care about anything else but the ultimate goal. You were focused, right? You didn't care. You were like, look, I'm going. I don't know what it takes. And God was dropping into my spirit as we were talking. It's important for you, if you really are called to greatness or you really are aligning with your design, it is so important for you to go with God's flow. So you didn't have all the answers, but you didn't say, I'm not going to do it. I don't know how this is going. No, you just said, I'm going to do it. And there's a song that says, Whitney did it. I'm taking it step by step, brick by brick, until I get there. And so driven to succeed, is a mind shift, right? It's a mindset. It's a mind shift. And it is a defiant, systematic approach to getting to the finish line successfully. So share a little bit about what's on your shirt. You got something on your shirt. I want you to talk about what that is and share with us what's on your shirt.
I didn't hear the last part. There's an airplane going over.
Oh, okay. That's what that was. You have a little saying on your shirt. We want to talk about.
Oh, yes. Driven to succeed. And it's on different paraphernalia that persons can get on my website. And that's D2. I don't see the 2 in the middle, sort of subliminal.
Yep, see it.
D2S, driven to succeed. And they come in different colors and have different designs. These are all the D2S design.
Nice.
And then you have the vertical and the horizontal. You put down the side of your exercise pants or on your sleeve or what have you. If you go on my website, you can see some of the different ones. And maybe when you play that video, they can see the different designs and the sizes, etc. But I did want to say one thing, Marissa. You a great learner. you learn, you're quick wit. And what I was saying to her, when you're teaching, as I taught teachers who say these kids can't learn, these kids are just need to be in special ed. When it's sometimes how you teach kids, how you approach foster kids is like, I hear and I forget. Mm-hmm. I see, show them a picture or something, and I remember. But if you get them to do, use the hands, manipulative concrete objects, like the whole Montessori approach, I understand. Yes. So you teach them math and they get to feel 2 + 1. And so don't just tell them 2 + 2 is 4. No. And you never show them 2 + 2 is 4. Oh, I see and I remember, but then you get to feel and touch and so on. So that's very important. And so the driven to succeed is a psychological, inspirational, that's self-driven. And I was literally driven to Norfolk by my father for my education, but the inner drive is what stayed with me, because my father knew that education was going to be our avenue for success. He said, I want you to get your high school degree. And then when I went to college and became a teacher, then I became assistant superintendent, professor. But you know what? He always, I don't care if I was assistant superintendent, if I was a vice president of Coppin, he would say, this is my daughter. She's a school teacher. And I said, Dad, I'm not a school teacher. Now I'm assistant superintendent. But to him, the teacher was the highest profession that anyone could have. I don't know what a superintendent is. I don't know. But he didn't say just teacher. My daughter's a teacher. My daughter's a school teacher. Ooh. And I thought that was always cute. So I always maintained that teaching ability. Even when I was a vice president, I taught one grad course because I just enjoyed teaching. And so just the whole notion of wearing your success on your clothes is saying to you first that you are driven to succeed and you are going to be what you say you're going to be. You can see your vision, you see your goal, you're just on your way there. Yes. And then it's a talking piece. Somebody's going to say, what's driven to succeed? Yes. Gives the kid a chance to say, again, this is what I'm going to be. I'm driven to succeed. I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be a teacher. And it's reinforcing in their psyche, I am going to be there because I just said it again. Right. So I kept saying it. And it reminds me when my daughter was in medical school, I got her some a sign that says Sherelle A. Washington, MD, first year of medical school. And she said, Mom, I'm not a doctor yet. I said, put this up on your shelf and just look at it because you're going to be. And she told me later, many times she felt like giving up. It's so hard that she would look up there and see that sign. Sherelle A. Washington, MD. And when my other daughter's in law school, I got her business cards. The Cheryl Y. Washington, Esquire, to graduate May 1997, 2 years away. So it was a phone number on it. Somebody said, you got a phone number? Here's my business card. And so she gave it away now. So she has to be a lawyer in 2 years because she gave him.
Right. Now she's held accountable.
Right. Wearing your success. A lot of people do vision boards or they put posters all on the refrigerator. You know, I'm going to be this and I'm going to be this. That's fine. But it's about the same psychology. And when you wear it on your shirt, on your sleeves, you're wearing it proudly because you know God is going to give you what you want to be. You have the faith, you prayed about it, you're seeing your vision, you're claiming it. And so now you're going to wear it and let people ask me about it or not. You're talking to yourself. Yes. So that's the psychology behind visualizing what you're going to be before you become it. Because when you get on the highway, don't you know where you're going before you get there? If you say, well, where am I going?
You're going to just be sitting there.
You're just driving around in circles. You know where you're going. And if you have to get a detour, you go so far, and the road is blocked off. What do you do? Just take a detour and get back on track. So that's the whole notion of being driven to what it is that God has his plan for you.
Yes, he
and just
does.
work his plan, and you'll be just fine.
And you'll be just fine. And with that being said, I really want to talk to the audience. I want to share with them that you have transferables, right? So you have the Driven to Succeed transferables that they can transfer them to existing clothing that they have.
Yes,
Okay.
those are
Yeah.
stickers. When you go on the website and you
Mhm.
go to the Driven store, there's a
Mhm.
section called stickers. You can get
Mhm.
those stickers and you can iron them on, or you can sew them on the side of your pants or your sleeves, or clothes you already have. If you look
Right.
at some of my things, rather than having a pin, I may have a sign that says driven to, it's a car on my
Right.
jacket where I have ironed it on. And I
Right.
just want to have that logo. This one, I'd be a red and white one, which I'm
Okay.
not a Delta, but I may use red. I may, if I have on a blue, I have the blue and white. That's my
Mhm.
Zeta, my
Right.
Zeta friends, and my
Right. Right.
AKA. So I have every color
Oh, nice.
of whatever fraternity, organization, and university. I have all those colors in my on my website.
Right. So we're gonna show the audience. We're gonna show the audience just a little clip, a little video of the store. And I just to the audience, I just really want you to understand that these are gifts for all seasons. We're getting ready to come up on the holiday. These are
Yes.
wonderful gifts. So you want to inspire some young people. You want to inspire people of all ages. You have the opportunity to purchase online and just really make these some wonderful gifts. So we're going to take a little moment and we're going to take a dive into a preview of your store. So ladies and
Okay,
gentlemen, here we
wonderful.
go. Driven to Succeed. Beautiful. I even see the onesies for the babies. So you can even start
Absolutely.
having them prophesy over themselves while they're babies. So Dr. Washington, will you give us some of your closing thoughts, some of your just what's on your mind for our viewers?
Well, as we move into the holiday season, Thanksgiving, Christmas, these make wonderful gifts. Not only are they self-motivating for people who are wearing them, it's also motivating for people to read it. And
Mm.
partial proceeds from all of my books and the apparel go to my Foster Board Scholarship Fund, the Untitled Scholarship Fund at Coppin. And so you're doing a great cause for these kids while you are also doing something for yourself and motivating yourself. And the whole notion of being driven is to look at each of the letters in driven. And I said the D is for dedicated, be dedicated. E is educate yourself. Because of everything you're doing, you need to educate. Be resourceful. Don't wait for someone to tell you everything. Just go and get
Find
off
out.
the bus and say, I'm going to go over here and go to school. I is for integrity in driven.
Mm.
Always know what you're going to do. Don't follow the crowd. Always know what's right and what's wrong, and you do it. V is what you need to do is be victorious. That's the song that I picked, Victory. Claim it before it happens. And then E is everlasting. You know, everlasting life. Just know whatever you do now, God is watching and you're going to have everlasting life, and it's eternal. And then N is in never give up. Don't ever let anyone define who you are and who you can be by saying you're not going to be anybody. You are an American, and it ends in ICAN, American. And you take those last four letters is ICAN. which stands for I can.
Yeah.
You're not an American. I mean,
You go ahead.
right? So you're an American, so that means I can. And so whatever God has for you, nobody will take it away but you.
Nobody take
but
it away
you.
Yes.
So if you don't live up and do what he tells you to do and keep the faith, you're the only one can take away what God has for you. So just trust and do what you need to do, and just know that your vision is only a few steps, a few years, a few weeks away, but you got to get started now on where you're going in life.
Awesome. I can't believe that half hour is over.
Is it really?
Yeah. Oh my God. There's just so much to really tap into here and really engage. And you're just such an amazing model of.
Can I share the sisterhood book?
Yes.
That's the sisterhood book with my Sisters for Sisters Network with Miss Peggy Morris, the founder, and my good friend, Dr. Renee Allen, is one of the executive board members on this book. Now, the Driven to Succeed is awesome. This is awesome plus, because it has so many phenomenal women with their story in this book.
Yes.
So, and Dr. Allen has one in here as well. So please pick that up. That's also on my website. And I don't know, we didn't talk about the Driven to Succeed book is in Spanish.
Yes.
Determinada a triunfar.
Oh, go ahead.
Determined to triumph. That's the translation in Spanish. So if you're a Spanish speaker, or if you want to learn Spanish, get both books and read side by side. Is how the Spanish looks and how the other. And this is, of course, the cookbook.
Yes, which we're gonna dive into on the 23rd. So viewers, make sure that you chime in on the 23rd. We're going to be talking all things food, because that is Thanksgiving week, and
I will be wearing my apron.
Yes, we're going to be talking about all the good things that we'll be eating and all the delicious desserts. And I'm going to tell you, people, I'm going to be dropping that day one of her very special desserts that we're going to share. So we're going to post it all day long, all week long, so you folks can go to the store and get the ingredients so that you can buy it and try it. And so Dr. Washington and I are going to sidebar. We're going to talk about that and give that recipe to you. Maybe Dr. Washington, we should give it to them early so that they can prepare it, and then they can come on the show and tell us how they did, right?
Well, on my website, I have my signature Southern bread pudding. I gave that away as a free for people in my newsletter, Village of Supporters. So that's on my website. You can get my bread pudding with the honey rum sauce, the drizzle on top of that. So we're going to be really getting down. And also in my newsletter, I had a Thanksgiving dinner that I recommend that you may want to cook. And I have it on what page? You want stuffing? That's on page 83. My 3-cheese mac and cheese, that's on a certain page. So if you go to the website, all the newsletters are there. And can I say one more word about the other anthology that I finished? Is it's also about successful businesses that people launch to change the world. That's by Antonio Crawford, who is the founder of the Think Pink Network, and women who are doing great things, and the National Christian Women's Network. Just a wonderful group of Christian young women who are doing great things. So I want to give a shout out to him for the new anthology book that he has by the Think Pink Network. That's on my website as well, if you want some more information about that book.
Yeah. Excellent. And you can see her full article in the Own It magazine. Everything is listed there and outlined there. And so just an amazing woman. I mean, Dr. Washington, you hold back nothing. And you have given everything. And so we're just so thankful for all that you've done. Next time we get on air, thank God we have a whole hour to share, because I want to talk to our community in regards to the importance of what you've done, volunteering, giving back, getting involved. taking a risk and engaging those young men and saying, yo, what are you doing out here? You did not count it. You were not afraid. You were concerned. Your concern and your heartbeat behind that concern was more important, because you already know God's got you. When you do God's work, God covers you. He keeps you. He's the Lion of Judah. He's your front and your rear guard. He covers you on all sides. He said, touch not my anointing and do my prophets no harm. When you came to speak to their lives, you were prophesying to them. And you were saying, listen, shift. It's time to shift. We're not going down this path. We coming here. And so we need to make sure that community volunteering and getting involved is something that we start talking about at our dinner tables, that we start talking about in our conversations. Drown out the garbage and let's talk about what really matters. And making a difference and making an impact like you've done is just, we got to have that conversation. We got to have more of that. So I'm excited about our next interview, which is the 23rd of November, the week of Thanksgiving. And then I'm also looking forward to continued interviews, because the conversation needs to continue. So I just want to say thank you so very much.
Thank you, Marissa. You are phenomenal. You're doing a wonderful job. I want to thank so many people that helped me over 22 years raise the boards. I just want to always give back to them and share whatever honor that you give me. It's not me. I'm sharing with everybody else. And just last point, kids. So many adults are afraid to talk to kids. You know, back in the day, you could talk to a kid and say, what are you doing? I'm going to call your parents. And now a lot of parents are like, no, I'm not going to get involved. But, you know, a lot of kids are screaming for help out here. And you know how to talk to kids. You don't be cursing at them and being belligerent. You kind of tell them who they are. Young man, now you know you shouldn't be doing that, right? You're better than that.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're going to look at you like, how do you know me? No, I'm better than that. And so it's just the way I call it positive discipline, how I raise my foster boys. So we need to just talk to more parents about how they talk to their own kids. A lot of parents to say, as assistant superintendent, doc, well, I can't do anything with him. And this kid's only 12. Yeah. You can't do anything with your 12. Wait till he gets 15.
Yeah. Hello.
So
and it's
I got a whole workshop on how parents can reach their own kids before the police reaches them and hit them across the head and shoot them. And then, you know, what are you going to do? So you better get your own kids so that the police won't be out there trying to get them. And sometimes you don't have to be doing anything for the police too. So you really got to make sure we grab our kids and make sure they know. So I'm going to call 911, the child abuse. So look, I tell you one thing, I brought you in this world.
Come on, we got to go back.
Right? We got to go old school. Call the police if you want to. But old this school. Is my house and this is what you're going to do. Now, you want to run away, you know where to come back to. So, but anyway, it's, I'm an old-fashioned parent, and my daughters would tell you, because I mean, when they were growing up, we weren't friends. I think they stayed upset from age 14 to about 18. Yeah. And now we're good friends, because I wasn't trying to be your friend.
No,
your mother.
I got
you. I'm not trying to be your friend, and that's part of the problem right now. Parents trying to be the kid's friend rather than trying to be the parent.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother workshop. So that.
Look, that's a whole nother conversation, right?
Absolutely.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we just want to say thank you so very much for chiming in. We appreciate you. Make sure you chime in on the 23rd. We will be back here front and center, taking center stage and owning it. People, we are out. God bless you.
We're out.
And thank you so very much.
Good. Shout out to my sister friend, Beverly Thomas, who's also listening.
My
sister friend.
yes, we gotta have him. And Robin Hughes.
Yes,
we gotta shout out.
Robin Hughes, my sister friend. I know Peggy is listening. Renee Allen, but God is good.
Yes, He is. God is good. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. Have a blessed rest of the week.
Okay, sweetheart. You do the same, everybody.
All right. Yeah,
driven to
succeed. I love it.
And victory.